two different farms right beside each other. We'll look at downforce. Now this is gauge wheel weight. So the downforce map on field view is created the exact same way if you have 2020 only, 2020 with Air Force, 2020 with Delta Force. The methodology for determining what color to make the square is the exact same. If I have Air Force, I should have more green than if I have manual. If I have Delta Force, I'm going to map every row compared to Air Force or just 2020, it's probably not every row. This field was planted with a John Deere 1760 individual row hopper planter with down and lift Air Force in strip till, fall strip till, right in the strips in the spring. All right, so here's our downforce map, a decent amount of red. We look at the report, 3.7% loss, 70.5% good, 25.8 excess. Can't say it was operated poorly here. You know, if they had backed the target off by 10 pounds, the loss would have gone up. Could the excess have come down another 5 or 7% and the loss gone up 1.5? I don't know, maybe, might have been worth trying. This is not run poorly. It's planter-wide control. If we zoom in and look at some different spots in the field, we can see that in this pass, one row had well over 200 pounds of gauge wheel weight. When two rows over, there's a little bit of loss going on. Now, why is that? I don't know. It could be, it's not a planter thing because I don't see the same pattern across. Could the knife in that row in the fall then run a little bit deeper in that spot? I don't know. Was the row cleaner running less aggressive here, more aggressive here, and removing weight off the disc openers here? Whatever the reason, you can see it was averaged pretty well across the planter, but there's still row variation. All right, so that's this field, strip till, 70% good with Air Force. Now, with Air Force or Delta Force, we have the applied force map, and this is the net force that's being applied. So if you have down and lift airbags with Air Force, there's going to be pressure in the lift bag and in the down bag at the same time. So we are mapping here what's the net. The down, the lift, what's the net actual force applied down or lift. Same way, Delta Force cylinders always have lift and down pressure in some amount. So we're mapping the net from that, right? So here we can see right here along the pipeline, over 200 pounds of force is being applied down. Over here in this area, it could be that it was set a little bit lighter, or it could be that the hoppers were pretty full of seed at that point, whatever it is. There's hardly any, basically 0 to 25, and 0 to negative 25 means lifting. So that was basically running with no extra weight being applied down and then a little bit of lift. So it was mapping that planter line. All right, so we can see the net force. Now, I'm going to select this field and make it active. And go to the downforce map. This was planted with a 16-row John Deere 7200 with down and lift Air Force. So 12 rows 1760, hoppers down and lift, 16 row 7200, hoppers down and lift. Virtually the same planter except 16 versus 12. This is conventional tillage. So cow manure in the fall, deep ripped in the fall, 2 soil finisher passes in the spring. What we just looked at was fall strip till. Look at this report. 1.6 loss, 95.9% good, 2.5% excessive. I would not expect to routinely see that number or anything close to it with Air Force. This is very, very high for Air Force. But it's a very mellow seed bed, it's got down and lift capability, and there's consistent weight across the plant. That's why it's able to do it. With central fill planters, with strip till, no till, you're not going to see numbers this high. So if we zoom in here, there's still row-to-row variation, but a little bit less. The other thing you see here is they're mapping a higher percentage of the rows, so they're measuring more rows. So regardless of your downforce control system, if you don't have Downforce, consider with either Air Force or just a 2020, it might not be a bad idea to add a few more load cells. Not necessarily because with Air Force it will control that much differently, or manually adjusting, you'll be able to adjust it much differently, but the map you see will give you more information because you're picking up more rows. Especially if you have 2020 only and you're just measuring 3 rows, think about maybe purchasing a couple more rows worth and adding to it. So out here, like in this spot, that looks very, very good. You know, over here, there's some variation. Looks like maybe something's going on a row. Here, here. See, that's the thing. If I'm measuring 3 out of 16 rows and I don't have a weight pin on that row, I don't see that that one's running heavy here, and right there, and right there, and there. What is it? I don't know. I expect to see this more because the planter was folded up and took a turn a little too short pulling out of the field entrance, and the wings kind of caught the ditch. I expect that they're going to add the other 3 rows here, so every row will be measured. I expect to see more variation this year with the bent row unit on would be 5. Alright, so that was the downforce. What's the applied force? You can see here, the lightest green, like up here, is 0 to 40, and the darker green over here is -40 and -80. So this planter, in the mellow, conventionally tilled ground, was lifting most of the time. So it didn't vary a whole lot, but it was lifting most of the time.